Hi, my name is Owens and I'm here with Heart Alchemy Yoga. Today we're going to be going through a gentle yoga sequence. This sequence is great for anyone who is new to yoga or is looking for a more restorative flow sequence. We'll start with some really gentle stretches to help to warm up the body, move into some flow, and then wind down and have a really nice long Shavasana. So with that being said, we're going to start on our backs. And then lay all the way down. Bring your feet about as wide as your mat, a little wider than hips width and distance, and let your knees drop in. Bringing the fingertips to your belly, softening the shoulders, you'll close your eyes. And let's begin by taking some gentle breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Deep breath in. And a long sigh out. Taking these first few breaths to shift your gaze inward, to arrive onto your mat. Letting go of any thoughts that might be keeping you from being in this moment right now. Simply allow those thoughts to dissolve into the ground. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, let it all go. Open your arms wide. And then start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. The knees will drop to the right and to the left. Starting to create some space in the lower back. And then bring the knees to neutral. You're going to cross your right ankle over the left thigh and cross the right ankle all the way to the outer left knee and let both knees drop to the right. It's a nice, gentle, open twist. Flexing both ankles to protect the knees. Take 3 deep breaths. And then draw the left knee back to center and land your right foot on the mat. Cross your left ankle to the outer right knee and then lower both knees over to the left. Flexing both ankles. Take 3 deep breaths. Pull the right knee back to center and then hug both knees in towards your chest. As you hug both knees in, you might decide to rock the knees from side to side just a little bit to massage any tension out of the lower back. Softening the head, neck, and shoulders. Take one more breath. And then gently roll on over to one side. You could choose. Place your hand on the mat and let your head be the last thing to climb on top of the spine as you slowly come all the way up into a comfortable seat. And crossing both ankles or shins, you might choose to prop yourself up on a blanket. If the knees feel like they're really high towards the chest, a blanket will help to kind of slope the knees downwards so that the hip creases can soften. You'll take your hands onto your knees, and then on your inhale, you're going to pull your chest forward, and on an exhale, you'll round your chest back. You're just going to rock forward and back, starting to kind of move into a gentle cat and cow seated. And if it feels appropriate in your body, you can actually start to do some turns with your chest over one knee and then towards the other, starting to break apart pockets of tension that accumulate in the shoulders and in your hips. And as you do these turns with your chest, you can close your eyes. Maybe you breathe in as the chest pulls forward, and you breathe out as the chest pulls back. And then just make sure that you turn in both directions. And take one more round. And come all the way up to seated. Reach your arms straight up overhead as you inhale. And then lower your right hand down to the ground. You're going to take the left hand to the right ear and then lower the left ear towards your shoulder and lower your left shoulder towards the ground. Deep breaths. And take the left hand to the ear and help the head back up. And then switch. Lower your left hand down, reach your right arm all the way up. And then go ahead and lower the right ear to the right shoulder. Soften both shoulders away from the ears. Take the right hand to the right ear and help the head back up. And inhale, reach both arms up. And then go ahead and twist on over to the right. Take a deep breath in through your nose to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, twist a little bit more. Two more breaths. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, twist over to the left. Take a deep breath in to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, start to revolve the upper chest a little bit more. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands down through center. And then you're going to lean back just a little bit and place your feet flat on the mat, reaching your arms forward. And as you start to lean back, kind of creating a diagonal shape in the body, I want you to lift your heart up towards the sky, but draw the chin slightly in. And then imagine as though you were squeezing a block in between your thighs. And for a lot of us, this might feel pretty intense. If you feel pretty comfortable here, you're going to lean back just a little bit more and then start to lift your feet up off the floor and come into Navasana boat pose. And in Navasana, it's really easy to hunch into the shoulders. You want to keep lifting through the sternum so the belly is nice and engaged. And then keep squeezing the inner thighs as you lengthen the spine a little bit taller. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale, lower the feet down towards the floor. Sweep your hands back, fingertips facing forward, press into the hands and into the feet, and then lift your hips up into a reverse table, breathing in. Stay for the exhale, breathe out. And then lower the hips down towards the ground, and then cross the shins. Come forward onto your hands and to your knees, so you're in tabletop pose. And as you come into tabletop, really spread the fingertips really wide and root down through the inner palm. And then just some traditional cat and cows. Inhale, pull the heart forward through the gateway of the arms. And then exhale, press down to round through the upper back. Couple more times. Inhaling, pulling the heart through. And then exhaling, pressing down to find that space between the shoulder blades. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last one, inhale, broadening the collarbones. Exhale, pressing down, lifting the navel center. Come to a neutral spine as you breathe in. And then you're going to step your right foot off the mat to the right. You'll bring your hands up to your hips and then come all the way up to stand on that left knee. If you have tender knees, again, you can bring a blanket underneath your knees. We'll be doing a little bit of work on our knees today, so it might help to get that extra padding. You'll lower your right hand to the outer right hip and then reach your left arm up towards the sky. Softening the left shoulder blade down the back, lean up and over to the right. Coming into gate pose, opening up the left gate of the body, imagining as though you could fan open the left side ribs. Take another deep breath. And then come all the way up to stand. And then you'll lower your hands down and return to tabletop pose. Send your left foot off the mat to the left and place the foot flat. You'll see I'm angling the toes in. That helps to create a really solid foundation in that leg. Bring your hands to your hips and come all the way up to seated. Lower the left hand onto the outer left thigh. Reach your right arm up towards the sky and lower your right shoulder blade down the back. Reach up and over to the left. Take 2 to 3 deep breaths. Come all the way up. All right, and then lower your hands down. And bring your left knee back into tabletop. You'll tuck the toes under. I like to walk the hands forward just a little bit and turn the hands just slightly out so that the 4 fingers are parallel, and then root into that index finger. Lift your hips up towards the sky and come into downward facing dog. And for this first one, you'll step your feet nice and wide. And as you do this, you'll have an opportunity to kind of sway your hips from side to side. Again, opening the right and left side of the body, getting into the outer hips. And then walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet and come into a forward fold, grabbing opposite elbows, perhaps bending the knees and swaying from side to side a little bit. You can shake your head no or nod your head yes, anything that helps you to relieve any tension in the head, neck, and shoulders. And switch the fold of your forearms. And take one more deep breath. And a long breath out. Lower the hands down to the mat, bend the knees, and slowly roll to stand, anchoring your tailbone down as each of the discs along the spine slowly start to stack. Head is the last thing on top. And inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Now bring your feet to hips width and distance. I really like hips width and distance. You can bring your feet together if that's available in your practice. But hips width and distance just kind of gives you a little bit of room. A slight bend in the knees is really helpful, especially if you have tight hamstrings, or even if you hyperextend, so you have very mobile legs. Just a little bend. And then lift through the soles of the feet like you're drinking up from the ground. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up overhead. And then exhale, fold all the way forward over your thighs. Lengthen your spine and drag the fingertips up your shins. And as you exhale, walk your hands out into downward facing dog. Now, if your feet work together, you will bring them hips width and distance apart. And as you inhale, shift forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. And we'll hold this for 3 breaths. If you want to lower the knees to the ground in plank, you can do that. Feel the navel center pull up towards your spine and the heart pull through the arms, or keep your knees lifted, which will just engage the core a little bit more. Take a deep breath in, and then lift your hips up and back to down dog. 2 more times. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Press into the hands as the hips fold back. Last time. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Hold, lower all the way down to the ground. Release the tops of your feet onto the floor, and then lift your chest for baby cobra. Tops of the feet press down. The legs are engaged as the shoulder blades glide down the back. And then lower your chest to the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, peeling it towards the ground. Last one, inhale, chest lifts. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Now, for my favorite shoulder stretch. You're gonna open your right arm to the right and lower the right cheek to the ground. You'll bend your left knee and then roll onto your right shoulder and place the left foot back behind you. If this feels too intense, or if your head's lifted off the ground, just bring a pillow or a block underneath that right ear so that you can relax the head down. 2 deep breaths. Slowly roll back onto your belly and then switch. You'll open your left arm to the left. You'll place your left cheek on the mat, and then you'll place your right hand by your lower ribs and roll onto your left shoulder, placing your right foot back behind you, and take a few breaths. Slowly roll back onto your belly. Place both hands flat, and then lift your hips up and back into child's pose. So knees nice and wide so the chest has space to relax. Forehead to the mat or to a surface such as a pillow or a block if that feels better in your body. And see if you can allow that breath to really draw all the way down into your hips. You'll take 3 to 5 deep breaths here, closing the eyes, letting the forehead rest. There's complete surrender and softness. Taking one more breath. And then slowly shift back onto your hands into your knees. And as you come back onto hands and knees, it might be helpful for the next few sequences if you have blocks, to place blocks underneath your hands. We'll be doing a lot of stepping forward, so if you feel like that's kind of not available in your practice yet, then just a little bit of height will really help. Otherwise, your hands will come flat onto the mat, and you're going to step your right foot outside your right hand. Sliding the left knee back a little bit, kind of just dropping the hips. You can turn the top of the foot onto the floor or keep the toes on the mat, depending on what feels better on that left knee. And then you'll take 2 or 3 breaths here to open up the left side of your body. Choosing one spot in front of you in which to focus your gaze. Last breath. And then straighten your right leg, flex your right toes, and start to stack the hips on top of that left knee. It's okay if the hips go a little bit back from the knee, but you don't want the hips to fall into the left heel. If that's happening, then you just want to pull that right heel forward a little bit and then start to drop in. Really flexing the right toes will help to extend the stretch into the calf. Now rebend your right knee, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, and you're going to step back into downward dog. Good. Shift forward into plank pose as you inhale, and lower your left knee down to the ground. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Place your left hand on the ground and reach your right arm up towards the sky. Shavasana. As you root down through the left hand, really reach across your chest through the right fingertips. Take another breath. And then lower your right hand down to the ground. Pivot onto your back toes. And then lower your right knee down next to the left, coming into side two. You'll step your left foot outside the left hand, and then scoot the right hip back a little bit. And you can stay on the back toes, or you can place the top of the foot on the mat. It really just kind of depends on what feels better in your body. Once again, a few deep breaths, opening up that left hip and right psoas. You might even feel the stretch into the quad. Some of these poses are really great before or after a run, a hike, a biking session. Take one more breath. And then pull your hips back, flex your left toes as you start to straighten the left leg. If you feel pretty open here, you'll inhale and pull your heart forward, and then exhale, drop in a little bit deeper. You can walk your hands forward. If you have those blocks, you can bring your hands up to blocks, which will help to kind of elevate the floor up to a height that feels appropriate for your body. And a slight bend in that left knee might be very, very healthy for that left hamstring. Couple of breaths. Rebend your left knee, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, and then step back into downward facing dog. You'll lower the right knee down to the ground right underneath your right hip, spin your left foot flat, and then reach your left arm up towards the sky. Pressing down into the inner right hand. Oftentimes I see a lot of people doing this with their shoulder, and that's going to hurt the inner shoulder. You want to try to plug the right shoulder blade onto the back so you get a nice stable position through that shoulder, and really root down into the whole right hand as you stretch across the shoulders and up through your left arm. Take another breath. And then lower the left hand down. Good. Pivot onto the back toes. And this time you're going to step back into downward facing dog pose. One breath in. Exhale, breathing out. Now look forward. Come high onto your toes, bend your knees, and step or lightly hop between your hands. Lengthen halfway, fold, exhale. Bend your knees into chair pose, so Utkatasana, sitting low into your thighs. If you look down at the toes, you should be able to see those, so the knees pull back. And then press down to rise to stand, hands to heart. Tadasana, mountain pose. And then we'll start to flow just a little bit. Inhale for chair pose. Exhale, straighten the legs, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant your palms and step back to plank pose. Take an inhale in plank. And then exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga, or all the way to the ground. And as you inhale, cobra or up dog. Press down, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. Pulling the navel center towards the spine, lifting your forearms away from the ground as you wrap the outer upper arms back. Take one more breath. Look forward, come high on your toes, bend the knees, step or lightly hop between the hands. Lengthen halfway, fold, exhale. Bend the knees, chair pose. Press to stand, hands to heart. 2 more rounds. Chair pose, breathing in. Forward fold, breathing out. Lengthen, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. So step or lightly hop back to bent elbows. Cobra or up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale, hips fold back. 2 deep breaths. Looking forward, come high on the toes, bend the knees, step or lightly hop. Lengthen halfway, fold, exhale. Chair pose, bend your knees. Press to stand and pull your hands in towards your heart. Last round, chair pose, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Know that you can always rest in child's pose instead of holding downward facing dog. So as we go through the next few flows, know that that's available to you as well. Coming into downward facing dog, if you chose child's pose, you'll inhale and lift your right leg towards the sky. As you exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. This time you'll keep your back knee nice and lifted and engaged. Now as you inhale, reach your right arm towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths. Think Vashisthasana across your chest. And then lower your right hand down inside of your right foot, and you'll spin your back foot flat. As you spin your back foot flat, angle the toes in a lot and hug the inner right thigh, outer right hip in towards the chest. Now reach the arms forward and up. coming into Virabhadrasana 1. And as you sit down low into that front thigh, you're going to wrap your left chest forward and lift the frontal hip bones up. Take another breath. And then lower your hands down to the ground, pivot onto the back toes, step back into downward facing dog pose. Other side, reach your left leg up to the sky and step your left foot outside your left hand. Plant your right hand down, reach your left arm up and twist. Energizing your right leg so the hip doesn't drop. Everything is nice and engaged. Take another breath. And then lower your left hand down inside of the foot and spin the back foot flat. Lining up heels about hips width and distance, so a little wider than heel to heel. And then reaching your arms forward and up. And as you wrap that right waist forward, really bending deep into that front thigh, rooting through the left heel, take another breath. And inhale. And then lower your hands down inside of the foot, pivot onto the back toes, and step back into downward dog pose. Shifting forward to plank, lowering down halfway, cobra or up dog, inhale, down dog, exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, and step the right foot outside the right hand. Spinning the back foot flat, warrior 1, inhale. Now you're going to straighten your right leg out, turn your right toes in towards the side of the mat, and then turn your left toes open to the back, finding heel to arch alignment as you set up for warrior 2. Bending into that left knee stacks on top of the ankle. Now reverse the warrior. Turn your left hand to the sky and reach up and back. Side angle, left forearm to thigh. Right arm up and over. And as you wrap the right pinky towards the ground, see if you can soften the right shoulder away from the ear. And then wrap your left, kind of feels like the left lung, underneath the right. Press down into the left forearm so you actually have some space between the chest and the thigh. And take another breath. Warrior 2. Straighten out your left leg. Turn your left toes in. Turn your right toes back forward. And you're going to lower your hands down to the floor. And step back to downward dog. Other side. Left leg lifts. Left foot outside your left hand. Warrior 1, breathing in. Straighten out your left leg. Turn your left toes in, and then turn your right toes open. And you'll see I turn the left toes in just a little bit, about 10 degrees. As you bend your right knee deep, make sure you have a nice wide stance so that knee doesn't dip too far over the toes. Just right there on top of the ankle. Arms stretch wide, reverse the warrior, inhale. And then side angle pose, right forearm to thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Press down into the right forearm. Feel that extension from the outer edge of your left foot all the way through the left fingertips. Take another breath. Warrior 2 as you breathe in. Straighten out your right leg. Turn your right toes in towards the side of the mat. Left toes turn forward. And you're going to lower your hands to the floor. Step back to down dog. And take a vinyasa. Nice. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. This time, turn open your thigh, lift your right leg up, and step your right foot outside your right hand. Warrior 1. Inhale, reaching up. Now straighten out your left leg. and turn your left toes in, and this time we're gonna pause with both feet turning, or both toes turning slightly in, feet parallel, just about, and you'll interlace the fingers behind your back. Pull the knuckles towards the mat, and then fold forward, Virabhadrasana. And as you press down into the feet, think about lifting up through your arches and engaging the legs. Really lifting through the knees and quads. One more breath. Lowering the hands to the mat. Lengthen your spine as you breathe in. Keep your right fingertips down. Reach your left arm up so you twist. Switch. Left hand down, right arm up and twist. Right hand down, fold forward. And then turn your toes forward back into lizard pose. So this is kind of like our template pose today. You'll lower your left knee down towards the ground, so just as we did in the beginning, and you'll either stay right here or you can reach your right arm around and catch your left foot. Coming into a pretty deep quad stretch. And slowly release the foot, tuck your left toes, lift your back knee up, and downward dog pose. Other side, reach your left leg up to the sky, open the thigh, maybe lift that foot a little higher, and step your left foot outside your left hand. Warrior one, breathing in. Straighten out your left leg. Turn your left toes in and a little bit different. You're just gonna turn your right toes open and then open your arms wide. So we're shifting into Trikonasana triangle pose. And with triangle pose, again, just a little bend in your right knee and some energy between your feet as you stretch your right arm forward and lower your right hand to a block or down to the floor, or for a lot of us, this shin feels really nice as you open the chest. Take one more breath. Look down, bend the right knee, return into warrior two, and then straighten. Turn your right toes in, left toes open, triangle pose on the left side, reaching through the left hand and lowering the left hand to the shin, to a block, or to the floor. Really rooting down through the feet, spreading the toes, stretching wide across the arms, pulling the navel center towards the spine. Feeling that breath across your chest. Look down, bend your left knee, warrior two. And this time, lower your hands down to the ground, pivot onto the back toes. We're turning into lizard pose, left hand inside of the foot, and then lowering your right knee down. And again, you can stay right here or reach your left arm around and catch your foot. And I know for me, this side is a lot tighter than the other, so if you feel the same way, just know that you're not alone. And take one more deep breath. And then slowly release that foot. Tuck the back toes, lift your back knee up, and downward facing dog pose. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Lower halfway down. Cobra or up dog, breathing in. And downward dog, breathing out. Nicely done. Now go ahead and lower your knees down to the mat. Cross your shins, sit back on your sitting bones, and come all the way onto your back. Placing your feet down on the mat, bringing your feet hips width in distance, and really finding kind of that Tadasana in your feet. So the toes spread wide, mound of the big toe presses down, but the arches are lifted. Coming into bridge pose, lifting your hips up, and either grabbing the outside edges of your mat and pulling the mat forward, or interlacing the fingers behind the back and pressing the outer arms down. Feel as though there's a block in between your thighs. And so you feel the hamstrings turn on. And take another breath. And then lower the hips all the way to the ground and rest. One more, bridge pose, lifting your hips up, interlacing the opposite thumb. Good. And then maybe rolling the shoulder blades a little higher up the back. Good. And then really pressing into the feet, broadening the collarbones. One more breath. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Hug the right knee into your chest, interlace the fingers in front of the shin, and send your left leg straight forward, and then twist. Right knee over to the left, opening up your right arm. 3 deep breaths. Draw the right knee back in and give it a hug. And then switch. Left knee in, right foot forward, left knee over towards the right. Pull the left knee in towards your chest. Give your left knee a hug. Draw the right knee in to meet the left. And then we're just going to end with the hip stretch. So crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. You can interlace the fingers on the shin, on the belly of the hamstring, softening the shoulders down. Closing the eyes. Try to keep the left knee over the left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths. Of course, if you have any deeper hip stretches that you'd like to do, such as pigeon or double pigeon, feel free to do that as well. And then switch. Crossing your left ankle over the right thigh, bending the right knee, and interlacing the fingers in front of the shin or on the belly of the hamstring. Taking a few deep breaths. And then slowly release. Hug both knees into your chest. Curl yourself up into a tiny ball. So bring your lips up to kiss your kneecaps. Deep breath in. And Shavasana. Sending your feet forward, allowing your legs to lay long on the mat. Go ahead and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Allow your palms to face the sky. Close the eyes. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Dropping down through the head, neck, and shoulders. Relaxing the right arm, left arm. Allowing the belly to be soft and relaxed. And feel free to rest here for as long as your body needs to fully surrender, to dissolve any tension, any worry into the floor. You might start to feel a little lighter, as though you could float. And when you feel that wave of breath move through your body, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And exhale, long breath out. And again, you can choose to remain and stay for as long as you need, or bend both knees and place your feet flat on the mat. You'll roll on over to one side and then come all the way up into a comfortable seat. Let's bring the hands to heart center, palms pressed together. Closing the eyes. Taking this moment to pause, to reflect, to say thank you to yourself for showing up, for making time to practice. As a new mom, I know that that's not always easy and that our time is very valuable. And just taking this time to fill up your tanks, to recharge your batteries, to reconnect is so, so, so important. And the light in me sees, honors, and greets the light within you. In gratitude, namaste. Thank you all so much. My name is Owens, and I appreciate that you took the time out of your day to practice this gentle yoga flow on Heart Alchemy Yoga, and I look forward to seeing you next time.